Let's bring Haytham Faraj, a lawyer and a retired Marine Corps officer who joins us now live from Los Angeles. Welcome to the program. So we're seeing that Israel has been bombing Rafah. It's fighting Hamas members in several areas of Gaza. Does anyone's pressure matter right now? Does U.S. pressure have any bearing?
You can't say that U.S. pressure doesn't have any bearing, because U.S. pressure also has an impact on internal Israeli politics. And that pressure encourages people inside Israel to act to remove the Netanyahu government. So in and of itself, maybe it doesn't have an impact directly on the operations in Gaza, but it has some impact. And as far as it encourages people inside Israel to be motivated to get rid of this government.
But that point, actually helping people on the ground there right now in Gaza, this very point that we've heard from the US saying again now, Blinken, Secretary of State, saying that the US has not ruled out withholding more military aid from Israel if it launches, quote, a major military operation into Rafah. Will that make a difference?
No, it doesn't, because Israel has plenty of, it has a robust arsenal. What the U.S. is holding back is the larger, the JDAMs, if you've heard about them, the larger missiles that have a terribly devastating effect anyway, and they shouldn't be used in civilian areas. But they have been used. They have been used to and resulted in catastrophic civilian deaths. But the U.S. is not cutting off aid. The U.S. has cut off some aid, and you heard from Blinken earlier. There is still a goal, a ridiculous goal, of demilitarizing Gaza and not having Hamas rule. And so the question is, well, what's your plan for after? There is no plan. The U.S. waits for Israel to take the initiative, and the initiative here is to frankly kill as many people as possible. They had hoped that the border with Egypt would open up and people would leave. That hasn't happened. And so Israel is struggling to understand what its own goals are. They claim that they eliminated Hamas in Jabalia and Gaza City. Of course, they haven't. These are classic guerrilla operations. The Hamas fighters wait for the Israelis to show up, then they attack. And when they're not there, they don't have to do anything. And so just because the Israelis left and there's no more resistance in Jabalia doesn't mean Hamas is gone. What we're seeing is the result of a very ineffective military operation in Jabalia, in central Gaza City, and even in Rafah. You're going to continue to see an effective Hamas resistance. But you're also going to see a terrible civilian death toll, because Israel has no real military goal. Their their objectives is as many civilian deaths as possible.
It's an interesting point you make there, that Israel has no real military goal. And we heard, just again to quote the Secretary of State, he told US media that Hamas was already coming back in parts of Gaza. How strong is Hamas?
Never left.
They never left.
They never left. They never left. Look, it's classic guerrilla operations. I mean, take a lesson from the U.S. operations in Afghanistan. We went into Afghanistan to get rid of the Taliban. That was a ridiculous goal. That's not a military goal. You don't remove political parties that are made up of the local population, who are supported by the local population. We can go back in history to where that's worked, maybe against the natives who weren't organized in the U.S., but that is not a goal. The Israelis have told us that the goal is to eliminate Hamas, but who is Hamas? Hamas is Palestinian resistance. You call it whatever, you eliminate Hamas, there's going to be some other faction or party or political movement or military movement that is going to replace it to demand liberation. That's what the goal here is. And to suggest that by eliminating Hamas, you're going to pacify Gaza is short-sighted.
Haytham, thank you so much for speaking to us today on TRT World. Thank you, Haytham.